In this video, we're going to be replacing the ignition coil on this 2005 Honda Element. Our negative terminal here, 10mm nut. Go ahead and back that off now. And set that aside. To start our ignition coil job, we're going to remove this black cover here. You may notice that the entire air filter, air box, intake tube is missing. That is not part of this job. We removed that for another job, so disregard that that's missing. We're going to start here on this black cover. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 10mm bolts, 2 10mm nuts. Took this whole stud right out with it, which is okay. Typically doesn't do that, but that's not a problem. So this one that came out with the stud, this stud is actually what's holding down this ignition coil that we need to get to. So what we're going to do now is separate these two pieces, this nut and this stud. We're going to use a pair of locking pliers on the back. And our 10mm on top. Sometimes this will happen if this nut gets put on too tight. So we'll pay attention to that when we reinstall. So now that we have our stud already removed, we do not need to remove it. If you had to remove this, it's going to also be a 10mm. You're going to need to use a deep socket. So now that this is out of the way, what we're going to do is take our ignition coil, just slightly wiggle it back and forth, pull it up far enough so we can get to our electrical connector, disconnect that by pressing this tab and separating the plug from the coil. Set the plug out of our way, and from here, we just pull our coil straight up and out. So here's our new coil. It's going to go in the exact reverse of the removal, but before you do that, we're going to put a little dielectric grease in the end. You can see there is a little bit to begin with. We're going to put just a little bit more in there. And we're going to take our coil, lower it straight down onto our spark plug. And press down. Once we've done that, we're going to pull it back up just far enough to plug in our electrical connection and then reseat it back down. And then from here, we can take our stud, thread that back in. Okay. Once you have your new coil installed, the process will be the same for the other three. Once you're finished in there, we can reinstall our cover. Two back bolts. And our two front nuts. All right, now at this point you want to reconnect your negative terminal and you're all set. Gonna make sure it's down as far as it'll go. And tighten up our nut. Because that's an odd angle, I had a ratchet nearby just to make sure we're tight. Looks good.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.